fuck if you were a tranny and shit like that. Like degeneracy was not like a thing as much back then, but
Yeah.
it's just because like the fucking minority voice is just screaming batshit, and and the power structure is just like bending to it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're what we're experiencing now is decades of information warfare. Like we're on the wrong end of decades of information warfare from like China, Russia, Iran, the usual suspects.
oh yeah,
Um,
don't get me started on China. Uh,
yeah. I mean, well, look, we're talking about years and years of just like them them dividing us with, you know, with information warfare. Like I I mean, like with China, like when China says it though, they look like hypocrites. Like, oh, like they're the ones that were pushing. They were the ones that were really pushing the whole slavery stuff, like the slavery and the racial injustice stuff or whatever, which is hypocritical on their part because like look how like they have more slaves in that country than we have people in this country. Like they have they're talking about, oh, well, like they to me, China is the modern day Nazi Germany.
oh
They
yeah,
are,
totally.
yeah. Like they're using hundreds of millions of slaves to like build up their economy, which is kind of fraudulent in itself because a lot of it is like currency manipulation and you know
Well,
and
well, have you?
predatory
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go
finance.
ahead.
But yeah, it's like the legit what they're doing to the Uyghur Muslims is exactly what the fuck the Nazis did to the Jews. It's
Yeah,
exact same shit.
totally. So, have I told you my Alex Jones like tinfoil hat conspiracy with China and COVID?
Mm.
Yeah.
No, what
Okay, so I've kind of talked about this on the show before, but I find it extremely telling that last year in 2019, right? In 2019, uh, President Trump gets an intelligence briefing about the Uyghur death camps in China.
mhm.
Basically, he then basically like along with a few other countries, like I think the UK was one of them with Boris Johnson and a few of other allies. Basically, and the media did not fucking cover this at all. But he basically decried what China was doing as a human rights violation and basically said, "Look, America's not gonna fucking stand for this, right?" So we basically, so Trump basically put some more tariffs, which really fucked over China, like really, like really fucked their trade with the U.S. and everything. They were not fucking happy, right? Roughly three, roughly 3 months later, then by my count, guess what appears in the U.S.?
The Rona.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, again, I'm pretty sure the stream is going to get, taken down or something, but at this point, I don't care because, you know, I mean, it is. COVID basically is a bioweapon by the Chinese. I'm just going to fucking say it. And, you know, so we have that. And it's all because of the whole Uyghur death camp thing. So that's my Alex Jones slash Glenn Beck conspiracy with Rona.
It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. I definitely, yeah, I think that I kind of agree. I'm leaning toward that it's more that is a bio. I mean, I was leaning toward the bioweapon theory, like when it first came out. I'm like, why the fuck didn't we mention this at all or whatever? And it's like, well, because we're financially, we're financially tied to China and a lot of things in this country. So
Yeah. Three Elves says loves capitalism, but something needs to happen with these tech giant. I mean, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we've all been saying that for years, especially with YouTube and like big social. But at this point, Olives, I hate to say it, but I don't see anything happening
yeah,
other than Ted Cruz having more, grandiose speeches about, tech censorship in Congress. But they're not gonna fucking do anything about it. Otherwise, they would have by now, I feel like.
yeah. I I feel like yeah, and I was telling and I was saying this on the Versa show yesterday that the one gripe that I have, the one and only gripe that I have with the Trump administration is the is that they took down the net neutrality and there wasn't anything really to replace it with. Because there was some good with like the whole net neutrality thing, the open internet thing, um, there was some good stuff and then there was some bad stuff tied into it. Like most legislation anytime over the last, in the last few decades at least. There's always some sort of, there's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff, and then there's stuff that is in these bills that are completely unrelated to the main topics at hand. Um, like I felt like calling the internet a utility was I always felt like that was actually a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
uh, because forced forced tech companies to comply with the Constitution, right? In that regard. And but it was tied with a lot of other stuff like throttling and but I think from a business as far as an internet service providing standpoint when it comes to like data and all that stuff, I think businesses should kind of be able to do what they want, but within reason, but at the same time it's like, well, I think it should there should be I think the internet is a utility. I believe in my heart of hearts, I think it's a utility because, like, without it, nothing exists today.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, as do I. And let's face it, like or not, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube basically are the public fucking square
yeah, absolutely,
at this point, right?
absolutely.
Um,
Eh
I mean, you can't go. I mean, no one really gathers in the town square anymore because there literally isn't one in most places anymore.
yeah, we're and part of it I mean, part of this whole thing is we are we're experiencing financial shifts in like the world economy stage where China is having a stronger financial imprint as far as the world goes, which is it's it's uh it's it's mostly bullshit because one, they're taking advantage of slave labor, and two, they're manipulating their own economy, but it's afforded them the opportunity to make really predatory purchases all over the world and unfair trade deals and all that craziness. Um, but that's that's seeped its way into big tech too. Yeah, and
Oh, right.
so we have that's going to be a problem that has to be addressed either before or at the same time that we're dealing with big tech.
Well, I mean, the fact that big tech is now like literally telling you what you can and cannot tweet, like even even like censoring your fucking retweets, like that is some wacko shit.
Yeah, that's Chinese-esque shit. That's what they do in China. They censor shit in China. Hey, that's what they do over there. And they're starting to adopt shit